All righty. Good morning. I think we are live here talking about The Travelers, episode 2. Were you guys able to share share it out on your pages, the live?
Yeah, I'm checking right now.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Episode 2. Discussion. All right. Save changes.
All right, it's going out live on my page.
So we are live. So there's nobody on there yet, but
there we go. I got it shared.
Okay. Yeah, I see yours on there. Cool. Let's Yeah, you got a check mark by yours. You remember last time, JW, you said something in your settings on Facebook.
Yeah, it automatically set it to private. So this time I just logged into Facebook and put it on public.
Sorry.
Okay. So yes, we are talking about episode 2 of Travelers, the WorldGate Project, released last night. What did you guys think about the episode? Very broad.
I thought it was great. I thought it was great. I thought it gave a lot of insight and information with regards to like what I think was not necessarily fully explained in the first one, which is good because like it kind of gave people, reason to watch episode 2, of course. But I think that obviously like the scenario with Mike was crazy, and I mean that whole day was kind of crazy because that was when the computers went down. That was when when Mike's instance happened. There was something else that happened too, right?
There was quite a few other things, and the viewers will get to see more of that in episode 3 coming up. So we don't want to give away too much here, but yes, this is building. The WorldGate was building as we went along. It was building momentum. And there was a lot of things that happened, but we can go ahead and talk about Mike and what happened with him right now. It scared me when I seen him pop up.
Eric, were you in the experiment or were you a PA at that one?
I was a PA in that one, and I was actually kind of looking over the shoulder at the monitors when all of that happened, and that was, like I said, it was pretty nerve-wracking when you saw him kind of jolt up like that. This was kind of the first run of it, so we weren't quite sure what to expect, and then all of a sudden he pops up and he just that look of confusion, and it was very nerve-wracking to see. Like I said, I didn't jump in there, but I could see it happening. Like I said, I was very nervous when all of that happened. Like I said, it just kind of started, didn't know what to expect, and all of a sudden that happens. So,
well, I can't give away too much, but in the trailer, one of my computers went down, and I turned my back for a brief moment, and all hell broke loose. We have the spikes, we have what's going on inside, we have the lasers. My computer goes down, just shut completely off. I'm not saying the program shut down. The entire computer was off. I had to actually turn the computer back on. It was the only one out of 5 computers that turned itself off. I turn it back on, lose a minute or so, get it back up and running. Everything's going on with Eric. I mean, with Mike. I'm trying to get out of there, and I can't say a lot, but Amy's wanting to talk to me, and I'm like, hold on. Like I say, I can't say a lot because we got episode 3 coming. But this was our very first experiment, and I wanted it to go off without a hitch. It did not go off without a hitch. All of a sudden, when that gate opened, all hell broke loose. And it took a minute for me to regain control of everything. As soon as we got Mike outside, of course, I had to go right back to the trailer. So for me, watching episode 2, I'm getting to listen to Mike talking to Billy and talking to everybody, because I wasn't out there for those conversations with Mike. I had to get back to the trailer. I still had 5 more participants that I was responsible for this experiment. So for me, it was very interesting watching it and seeing what Mike was saying at that time. And I do want to point out the reason Mike went back in for the experiment was at that time, there was no way for him to get back into the experiment itself. That time had passed. The reason we put Mike back in the cot is so that when the other 5 participants returned, they would not know what happened with Mike. This goes back to my protocols, guys. I did not want the other 5 participants to know that Mike had left the experiment and had returned. And the reason I didn't want them to know is if they had anything that was that could collaborate what had happened with Mike, the best thing to know that they didn't not make it up, that they weren't somehow influenced, was to make sure that Mike was back in that cot. So when everybody took their blindfolds off, they had no idea what had happened. It wasn't until the round table later, can't talk a lot about the rain table, you're going to have to watch episode 3. But a lot of people that were the participants, they didn't know what happened with Mike. And let me add this. When we do the exit interviews, these participants do not talk to each other. They have no idea what the other participants experienced until later in the roundtables. That's what these protocols are for, so that we can start putting puzzle pieces together without outside influence. And I'll quit boring everybody now and turn it back to you, Billy.
So let's just catch everyone up. So we kind of jumped ahead, but basically in episode 2 of the series Travelers WorldGate Project is when the Wraith Chasers paranormal group, 3 of the guys from the original Tennessee Wraith Chasers, they come to the granary, they show up. So the episode kind of starts with Jay W kind of catching them up to speed, because at this point, everything has been set up for the experiments in the hyper realm. And so JW's catching them up to speed. They're giving their thoughts on this wild and crazy journey they're about to go on, and talking about their apprehensions of being a little bit skeptical, but at the same time being open to it because it's something so out of the norm, which I think is really cool. That they would be willing to do that and stuff. And then, some time goes by and we're still setting up and getting ready. And then Jay gives some good, gives some final thoughts before the actual first experiment begins. Don't want to give it all away. You can go and watch it on ScareNetwork. But then where we were just talking about is how deep were we into that experiment? Was it maybe 15 minutes when all that stuff happened with Mike?
We were right at opening the gate, which would have been about 20.
A little more than halfway, right?
My math, but it was about 20-25 minutes in, right as we were opening the gate, when I shot all those frequencies, as well as in the audio for the participants who are listening, they're being told to open this door. So we have the 6 participants attempting to manifest a door opening at the same time that the catalyst audio, which is broadcast ambient, hits. So all of those frequencies, all those thoughts, all that manifestation went directly to Mike in the very dead center.
And yeah, like you just said, it should be noted. So I'm putting a picture up there that Mike is in the center of the 6 cots. And and it's really weird. Hold on, where's the one? So yeah, so this is just a still a screen grab of Steve and Jay helping Mike out. So Mike got affected for whatever reason. We're still trying to figure it out, and he it was really bizarre because his face started turning red when he went outside. He had bags under his eyes. He almost looked like he had been sunburned, like quickly. Like he didn't look like that going into the experiment. So, and it's really crazy because in the next episode, which will air next Friday night, episode 3, there's more validation. I don't want to give it away, but there's way more validation that actually backs up what happened during the day, something that happens at night. You guys will just have to tune in to watch that because
but that's what happens with these experiments. They could I do have the catalyst audio that I talk about during the experiment, but actually everything that we do during an experiment can be a catalyst for what you end up investigating on this side of the plane that night. So during the day, we're running these experiments. We're trying to investigate and see what happens outside of the plane we're on. And then come that night, you're looking at, did the catalyst work? Did we open something to where we're able to investigate from our physical bodies on this side and get more validation as to what happened that day? And I believe we did.
yeah.
This guy right here, he was part of that investigation.
Yeah. I wasn't a participant that day, but that evening I was in, a part of that investigation. And like I said, so between kind of through the day and what we found at night was pretty interesting. I mean, to say the least, of what kind of matched up and everything. So it was definitely interesting.
Well,
To
without
say the
giving too
least.
much away, Eric, without giving too much away, I mean, what was your perception of how the granary was affected?
We've been to the granary a few times before that and everything. So
Many times before.
kind of knew what was lurking there, and then what we found to have happened through the day and what had been opened, I guess. Just like I said, I don't want to give too much away, but what had been opened and what we had found then, and between the evidence we found that night, especially in the basement, matched up. I mean, to the experience we've had before to that day, it just kind of all came together. It was,
I mean, investigation.
like I said,
and some of the responses you guys were getting were insane. I'm just gonna say that. That's all I'm gonna say.
And we have never gotten responses like that at the green. So it was just.
They don't like to talk to us usually. They just try to.
No.
They let us know that he lets us know he's there, but he doesn't let us.
They know you're there. They let you know. They really don't want you there, but I'm telling you what, the responses we got on the recorders were just.
Well, see,
never had anything like that.
I've been touched there, and there was one time me and Mike was there. Like I say, they don't normally talk there. We've used my direct links there. They don't normally talk. We've tried EVPs. We know they're there. For example, me and Mike, one time a long time ago, we were standing outside, broad daylight. It was just me and Mike and one other person. I don't know if it was who the other person was, but we had put stones around the granary because they had been known to move stuff. And we had placed all these stones, and we're standing outside, and all of a sudden we heard a stone thrown all the way across that. And of course, that's a metal Quonset hut building. It was loud. So that they do show themselves there by making noises. They announce themselves, but they don't normally talk.
They make you feel them.
Yeah.
They'll make you feel them. And it's affected way too many people to just be like a weird coincidence.
Exactly.
You know he's there. That's for sure. I mean, he makes his presence
he let
known.
me know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well,
That
there's a
one night
reason
we
we
were
went
there.
to the
Yes.
granary. There's a reason we chose the granary, right?
For me, I chose
Yeah.
the granary because I wanted to go back to wherever this thing, the only thing that ever laid its hands on me. That's why I went back there. I wanted to face it.
Yeah.
Let's play. We put the little teaser out yesterday for episode 2, but let's play that real quick for those watching, and then we'll talk some more on that episode.
I've heard stories about this, and we can travel. What does that mean? You know, am I going to be in another place, literally? It's like, is it going to be a dream state? I don't know.
I've got, good intentions. I got a good state of mind. So I think wherever I'm going, it's going to be positive.
Attention area
144.
personnel. Project WorldGate Experiment
1
will commence in
1
minute.
Mike, what happened?
I wish I can give you an exact description of what happened, but I can't. There's nothing I saw, nothing that I think I saw, nothing that I remembered I saw.
All right, so that was that. Kind of put that out yesterday, but
Y'all need to see this. All of y'all
episode?
need to see this.
Well, wait till we release episode 3. I think that's that was pretty powerful.
That was
Yes.
the best one. That was the best one so far, I think.
Well,
Yeah,
it's building. It's building, and that's
Mm-hmm.
what happened with our experiments. We built, we get there, we start figuring out how to set it up. We're educating everybody, either whether they're a participant assistant or they're going to be a participant. When we first get there, we're just setting all of this up, getting ready for these experiments. That takes a day and a half to do all of that. And then you run your first experiment. And then things start building from there. And it becomes a snowball as we continue along these experiments day after day for the next 4 or 5 days. It builds. The energy builds. People's knowledge starts building, and we start finding puzzle pieces.
I think the participants also, when you say knowledge, the participants, I think once they have an idea, because when they first came into this, they had no idea what they were doing, what was going to happen, how were they going to be able to handle it and all that stuff, But as the series goes along, I feel like you can kind of see everybody start to get a little more, I guess I would say, in tune with what we were trying to do and what they needed to be doing with regards to what we were asking them to do, once they got over there, right? And I think that that's why I think the last experiment, the hyper realm, and I won't talk about that for very long, but I think that, like you said, though, as it builds up, I think the participants had a better understanding of what we were doing, and it may have made it a little bit easier as we did more of them.
Well,
I guess that's just my thought.
Austin, you were a participant in one of them, but Eric, you were a participant and a PA.
Yeah.
Of course, Austin was too. But going back to what I was saying, asking you, Eric, as a participant, I could explain it all I wanted to, but until you got there and you actually tried it the first time, I'll let you talk from there.
Yeah, because like I said, I was an assistant there for the first couple experiments. So I kind of got to see kind of a little bit, kind of what to expect a little bit. And what I was, like I said, in my interview before going, participating in it, kind of what I was expecting or what I was hoping to get out of it. From the past, I had kind of had these outer body experiences that I felt when I was younger, and where I went was always happy. And then when I got in, I was kind of expecting that, but what happened was totally different. It was not what I was expecting, but I definitely, I can still remember this. We did this in April, 1st of April. I can still tell you the detail of what happened. I can tell you the smells I smelled that day of it during it. And then, I mean, it was just totally different. Like I said, I don't know if watching the first couple kind of influenced me in any way, because I know about the door and I was sure as heck to close that door because there was a lot of door talk. So I know during my experiment, I wanted to make sure I closed that door when I came out. So I don't know
And
if
that's what
some
the
of that.
participants are doing. They're manifesting the that's the goal of the experiment, is to manifesting opening and closing of that gate. And during the peregrine experience, whatever the participants experience, they experience. That's I don't take that from them, but I give them 2 instructions: open that door and close that damn door. When you get back,
you just wait till episode 4 comes out. Then I mean, oh my gosh, you want to talk about you don't give them any instructions where to go? Amy and Steve. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
So
well, there was one thing that happened with Eric later on that I am really looking forward to seeing.
Yeah.
And I know you all know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, and I'm interested to see too, because that's still, because I didn't see any of that. That's
I still can't find an explanation, and I've asked so many people. I still can't find an explanation. Oh my God, dude. I can't wait for everybody to see exactly what happened. Like, dude, y'all gotta sign up. You have to watch this. You have to watch this.
We're not going to give anything away, but EEGs are important for the research because it can give validation to whether they were just sleeping or was something else going on. Did they nod off, or were they actually experiencing something, traumatic, or not traumatic, but exciting, So those EEGs are very, very important.
I do want to say though that there was a couple people that did end up falling asleep. I'm pretty sure I heard Eric snoring a couple times.
And that's possible.
And that's when I was woke up, or when my PA came over, and I didn't think I was sleeping. I didn't feel like it, but they said I was out. I mean, it took them, a little bit to kind of get me around, and I just, and the whole time, and maybe I did nod off. And it never felt like I nodded off. Like I don't know. Like I said, that part was weird, but again, I can still remember the details of everything from that time.
Well,
I mean,
what's normal for a dream? Let's face it, most dreams, we don't remember them months later.
No.
Sometimes you can't even remember it after your first cup of morning coffee. So if you're still getting those strong details, was it an experience? Yes, we can definitely say that it was an experience, because regardless of how you want to describe experience, if you're remembering it a year later, that was an experience in and of itself.
Well, and we can also put in too, sorry, Eric, that we could also put in too, though, that like when you talk about like falling asleep and dreaming, like that's the lucid dreaming technique or whatever, right? That's like where right before you get to REM sleep. And so when we talk about astral traveling, many people who can do it naturally claim that they do it while they're asleep. And so it doesn't surprise me that maybe when he fell asleep, maybe it would have been a little bit easier for him to travel, because now he's in that state of mind already. And then you add in the frequencies. I think it could amplify his ability, at least.
Let me say this without getting too technical. I've said it before. My object of the experiment is to get them to that frequency range that a human is at right before they fall asleep and right as they wake up. All right. If I get you to those frequencies and keep you there, not for a few seconds, which is what happens in our waking and sleeping world, it only lasts for a few seconds. I'm trying to keep you there for 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 minutes, depends on the experiment we're doing. So who knows if you're, see, this is the thing about experiments. What if you're still held at those frequencies, even as you slip into sleep, you're still held at those frequencies. So you get a much more vivid dream than you would because you didn't sleep. You didn't slip deep into sleep. You were still held at those frequencies. Tesla said it. The answers to the universe are in the frequencies. And I honestly believe that. And that's the basis of my work.
I can honestly say that if I would have done the experiment, I'm pretty sure I would have fallen asleep. I mean,
yeah.
Some people, if they, now me, I won't. It's hard for me to take naps during the day. I'm not a nap taker. But somebody that's a nap taker, it's very possible that they could very easily fall asleep just listening to the metronome and all the instructions. But is it still an experience? It is. But also, what if that experience still relates and correlates to something else that happened with one of the other participants? Now you got to say, well, was it just a freaking dream or was it something more? Because look at this correlation we've got over here. These puzzle pieces are coming together. So now you're going, okay, yes, it was an experience. Yes, they were asleep, but look at the correlation. Now you've got three things going for you. It's hard to just dismiss it as just a normal dream at that point. You got to give it a little validity at that point.
And that's why y'all need to watch this.
Yeah, so exactly. Like I said, it's definitely more than a dream. Because like I said, you wake up and you can kind of remember a detail of a dream, and then a week later, you can't remember it at all. I mean, like I said, again, still to this day, I can still remember what happened. I mean, back in April.
So there's a lot of talk, even in the first couple episodes, about the hieroglyphics and ancient Egyptian and the Sumerians and whatnot. And, I guess people and scholars over the years have tried to decipher those and figure out exactly what they are. As I move forward, putting this series together and editing it and producing it and stuff, I feel like we're going to kind of need those same scholars come and decipher some of these exit interviews of what people experience, because they are they're out.
And they're not all the same. Some people travel and they experience what might be time travel. Others might travel or have an experience and it's like an alternate universe. I can't go into, I'm not going to go into specifics, but they were varied. These exit interviews, when you're, and they have drawn pictures, they've made their notes. You'll notice when they come back, they grab for that notebook and start writing it down. They have a story to tell, and they want to tell it. But they're so varied. I'm not finding that each individual, I would have to do it with the same individual several times to figure out, do their experiences vary, or does the same one that feels like they time traveled, do they always time travel? Or do they vary with, sometimes they time travel, other times it feels like an alternate universe. Whatever. The work has to go on, but we learned so much that week that we're trying to share with y'all on this series that we can push this work forward.
I would like to put out here too, just for people that want to question, like have questions about some of the validity of a lot of this. Just from my own personal experience, I didn't experience anything. And so I want to put that out there as more of like a counterbalance to, because we talk about everybody having experiences and all this stuff, but I do want to clarify that not everybody has one.
Exactly.
Like I did not have one. Brandon did not have one. But it's important for the research because we know that not everybody is going to be able to do it. And you have to be in a specific state of mind in order to be able to do it. And for me, like my mind is always racing. So like it's very hard for me to completely like meditate, clear my mind and all that stuff. And so there were a lot of factors that play into all of that. But yeah, it's not something that is successful every single time. You know how the paranormal works. And so I just want people to understand that this is like actually a legitimate study, that we're actually trying to really find the answers, and we are not going to claim that everybody has an experience, and we're not going to promise that either.
But I will say that those that do not have an experience being there for 5 or 6 days, you are still involved.
Oh yeah.
And you're seeing all this unravel. And you're starting to put together these puzzle pieces as well. So even if you don't have the traveling experience, just being there for a week, you're going to have some kind of experience where you're seeing all these things start coming together. And at a certain point, we started laughing about the coincidences. At a certain point, they're no longer coincidences.
It became a joke.
Validity at a certain point.
Let me just say that it became a joke as to how many coincidences were just popping up. It became so funny because every single time one would pop up, we'd be like, oh, okay, there's another. There's another.
Yeah.
It lost its value, I guess, its significant value after so long, because it was just like, it just kept coming in. I mean, at a certain point, it was just stupid. Like that's
yeah.
So Austin, to kind of counter what you said a little bit, you know, in this thing, people were in multiple experiments, and there's a couple. Now, let me preface this by saying I've not been through all the interviews and stuff yet. I'm still work in progress. So, but there are people who were in multiple ones who did have an experience one time, and then the next time nothing really happened to them.
Right.
So I guess it just depends on the individual first and foremost, and what other variables may be going on, how tired they are. I don't want to give too much away, but there's some physical stuff that happens with some of the participants where their head gear may have been too tight on them that affected them. So there's other variables involved, you know.
Yeah, it wasn't all paranormal. Just because somebody didn't have an experience or did have an experience, whatever, it doesn't necessarily paranormal. Like you were saying, Billy, the headgear was too tight. We didn't know it. That wasn't paranormal. That was just some flaws in the equipment that kept them from traveling. But even as we went along, there were some odd things that seemed to have happened that some people felt that might have been not stopping them, but slowing them down. And as the series progresses, you'll see more of that. But for me, as the curator of all these experiments, I got to take all of those things into consideration in the year between that one, and we're going to do it again in May. I have a lot of work to do in that year, getting ready for what we're going to do in our next one. So all of this is critical for the work. And we're just presenting it to the viewer the way it happened. This is the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. You're getting all of it.
Yeah, I think a lot of like a big thing, like Billy said, was that it really is a lot. Like the participant has to meet in the middle with the experiment and the frequencies. And so like it does kind of take some preparation on the participant side as well. And a lot of the stuff, we are learning as we go along. And I mean, even just seeing how far the experiments have come just over the last 2 times that we've done it, but we keep learning every single time we do this. And like, with it wasn't even necessarily a device malfunction or anything. It was just like, us trying to figure out how to properly get it all on and make sure it's set right and all that stuff. And this is, by the time the week was over, man, we had it down pat. I felt like.
Yes. Now,
Yeah, I know.
and I'm not going to say any names, and then Eric, you can go ahead. I'm not going to say any names, but I knew that there was 2 participants that the odds were they would not be able to travel. Now, I'm not going to give away anything on their, because that's their own private things, but I did know that 2 participants over that week probably would not be able to travel, but I did not exclude them from the experiments because for me, one, it was a challenge, but also I was going to try to gain knowledge from knowing that the odds are they will not be able to travel.
It's almost like adding a control into the experiment.
Yes.
Almost.
But yeah, like I said, when I did my experiment, I made sure I was comfortable as possible. I had some downtime, just about 10, 15 minutes beforehand, just kind of just sitting there, just trying to get my mind blank, basically. I took my shoes off. I had a blanket on. You know, I want to be, because it was a little cool in there. I had a blanket. I was nice and warm, shoes off. I was as comfortable as possible, made sure everything fit. I didn't really feel, you know, the blindfold or the headphones or anything on me. I didn't want any of that messing with me. So when I did it, I was definitely as comfortable as possible when I did it, just to get in that nice, relaxed mode and where I wasn't thinking about my headphone on and my blindfold, whatever, you know, just like that, my shoes or anything. So I definitely made myself as comfortable as possible before doing and during the experiment.
And that wasn't always easy because I know like one of our cots got messed up.
Yeah, one was messed up. Yeah.
One of the cots did
When did
break.
that happen? When did that happen?
It was
I don't
Steve
remember
that
that.
sat on it.
I think it was Steve. Yeah, he said on there.
I don't know.
What, you talking about this guy? This guy stuff?
Yeah, he broke one of my cots. When I buy this equipment, I buy enough cots. I buy all the same. I buy all the same blindfolds. I buy all the same special Sony headphones, all the same EEGs, all the same iPads for running the EEGs. Everything that I get, I make sure that it's constant across all participants so that we're looking at apples to apples. But also I get all their EEGs beforehand as a baseline. So then I can go back and I know what their baseline is from listening to audio, a relaxing audio. But I do want to say this. Before each experiment, I do get my participants to go find quiet places at least a half hour before. Get your potty out of the way. If you need to get a drink of water, start getting your frequencies down. Get relaxed. I don't want them. Yes, I said potty. I don't want them going in all worked up. So put your cell phones away. Of course, I don't allow cell phones on my sites anyway. But definitely, settle down and get ready to go so that you're not in a high state when you lay down in that cot. Now, I don't know what Steve was doing rolling around in that cot to tear it up, but I don't know if he was wrestling something or what, but he broke.
I think he just sat down on it too fast.
Yeah, I think he just plopped right down.
Yeah.
Wait, so you don't have backup cots?
I do now.
Thanks to who?
Steve? Lesson learned. I now have a couple of extra cots.
Yeah.
Just in case Steve shows up.
And he will.
He's going to be watching this getting pissed at us.
Yep, we got Steve, Kayla, and Eric as the 3 new members of IDC Institute. So they will be around. We just got to make sure that Steve doesn't. We just got to watch him.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a bull. But then again, you're a little bit
that's fucking this guy?
Yeah, that guy.
Poor Steve.
I love the fact that you zoomed in on his face. That just makes it so funny.
I went into my editing software and just pulled a screen grab of him and zoomed in.
That's awesome.
During his exit interview.
It was,
awesome.
yeah.
He had a crazy experience, man. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you'll see that in episode 4. It was insane.
Yeah. Now, you'll notice in episode 2, I couldn't get Austin to sit still long enough. I was trying to show the PAs and how we're going to start and stop the recording and how important it is to get all this right. We don't get a second chance. Once that countdown starts, you got to get out of the building. You don't get another shot at it. If the AEG goes down, it just goes down. We're not going to interfere with those participants once that 48-minute experiment is started. And Austin is like trying to hold a cat in a bag. When you put something on his head, he's squirming and I'm like, damn it, boy, just sit still for a minute while I get through this explanation of how the hell to use the EEGs.
Nope. I've heard it too many times and you're boring me, JW. I'm just kidding.
That's the difference.
I know. I know.
You were a test dummy and you wouldn't sit still.
I know. I'm sorry. I know. I'm sorry.
We did have a lot of fun that week, though.
Oh, that was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. We had good laughs and, came out making some great friends and connections. So, yeah, it was a great week. I mean, regardless of everything. Yeah. So it was definitely well worth it. Great week.
Together, a lot of them didn't know each other. They had never met in person or didn't know each other even online until we got there. Mm-hmm. So that we when we get these participants and they go through the process of being
vetted, basically.
Huh?
They're vetted in a way.
I hate to use that
interviewed,
word, but yes. When I'm looking at who's going to be in the experiment, it doesn't necessarily always mean it's going to be a bunch of friends that already knew each other. And that was definitely the case this time. Now, we came away friends and family. But at that time, we a lot of us didn't know each other.
No, I didn't know Steve, Kayla, like Amy and Pat. We were mutual friends on Facebook, but I never met them before, so I kind of knew who they were. But, like I said, Steve and Caleb, I was there at the granary. They pulled up. They're like, hey, we got food here. Where'd you go? And from the get-go, we hit it off. It was just crazy just how the whole group just kind of hit it off, coming together. And within just a couple hours, it was, like long-lost friends we haven't seen in a long time. It was just, we all chat now and stuff, and it's great. So,
and it was cold. It was windy,
cold and windy,
snowing.
Oh my God, that was like all seasons in 1 week.
Yeah.
On top of the eclipse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And the freight trains.
The eclipse.
The freight train.
Oh God.
He's trying to get some actual recording going, and here comes another. There was one day, I don't know which day it was. There must have been 10 freight trains that one day, and poor Billy was just busting his ass.
The eclipse is actually brought up in episode 4, so that's good because the eclipse happened on that Monday, when we had finished. I got a question. Austin, has since we obviously 5 months ago, whatever it was, in April, have you been in there with many paranormal groups that have gone back and investigated the granary, or have you been around? What's been going on with the granary since then? Has it been active, or it just varies, or what?
To be honest with you, I've been in there once since.
Oh. Okay.
But the big reason is because, like, even when we were there, you guys saw that. It's undergoing a lot of renovations, and they actually kind of put everything on pause while we were filming, and then jumped back into it after we were done. So, I actually should go back up there and check and see how the progress is going because
has it been investigated? Oh,
No, because they were in the process of renovating it, and they, like he said, they paused it long enough for us. But yeah, it's in the process of being renovated back into a business, an
And
actual business.
it's gonna be a distillery.
Yeah.
oh,
So
it
spirits
is?
in a spiritual place. Yeah.
Oh, so they're actually getting rid of where they're going to allow people to rent it out to investigate and stuff? Or?
No.
Oh,
No, John has told me flat out that as soon as the renovations are done, he's gonna let me open it back up for investigations.
oh, okay. Okay.
It's just been, I don't know, Eric, how long? What, 3 years, something like that since they've started it.
Probably, yeah, 3 years at least, probably. So it's
Been waiting.
been a while.
Very patient. It
Yeah.
took a couple of years for us
Yeah,
to get
it took-
Father John's back up and going too, but yeah, it'll come.
Yeah.
But the granary is one of our little private secret gems that
I
we.
I didn't know if while we were there, it stirred up whatever is residing there.
Dude, I don't
spirit-wise.
doubt it, and honestly, now I'm curious.
Like the workers have been renovating it, if their tools have been missing, or if they've been getting hit by boards or something like that.
At least I haven't heard anything
Yeah.
from John. I mean, Nikki tells me that Father John's has just been going. I mean, Father John's has been off the charts lately, and the last like 4 groups that we've had in there, I mean, it's just been crazy. But again, I'm a firm believer though that like this thing at the granary is not just at the granary. I think it uses the artesian wells underneath the entire town to move, and so I think it travels, between like Father John's, granary, the jail. I think it travels all over the town, and so I think that maybe, it's possible we pissed it off or something, and so like maybe that's why it's got more energy now. All theory, of course, but I do know that activity has picked up around town since.
Some mediums have said that the thing is a shapeshifter because now I'm not.
Wait, that's in episode 3, JW. Let me stop you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
Well, no, this was one of the things that, before I ever even went there the first time, I was warned about this thing by mediums. And I did not, for the first time in my career, I did not listen to what they were saying, and I made a mistake, and it was a boring day. It was a boring day, and I decided to provoke. And I've never done it since. I've never done it before, and I will never do it again.
I forgot about that.
My lesson,
Yeah.
of whatever that thing is.
Dude, it was dead all freaking night. I remember that. Because that was the Hunt the Town too, Eric. Because you were doing that, and
Yes.
like the first 2 groups, like there was nothing.
There was nothing.
then-
It was kind of quiet.
Yeah, and then
that
JW,
the third
man.
one.
So as
yeah.
the series goes along, you're going to see some things that I'm not going to put together myself because I need more proof before I put things together. But as you, the viewer, are watching this series and you learn more about the granary and this thing and what people experienced, I will let the viewer decide for themselves what they think might be happening there. I don't want to give too much away, and me myself as the curator of the experiments, I don't want to put things together that don't, even if they fit, I'm not going to make a definite statement. Y'all watch it, and at the end of it, come away for yourself on what you think happens there.
How many years ago was that thing happened with you there, JW?
2019?
Yeah, I think it's
5 years
2019,
ago.
5 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Damn, it was that long ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's that long ago. Yeah, it's that long ago. So
And it
yeah.
was down too, because it was me and Mike and Chris. Doogie was there, I think,
And Brandon.
and Brandon,
And KD and Sarah Lemos
KD.
and
Yeah.
and
a
me and
couple
Mike
others.
through the granary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it was me and Mike at the granary, and that was the same time that stone got thrown across the granary, broad daylight, and you heard it pink, 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 and bounce off that metal building, and we just both looked at each other and just smiled and go, "Did you hear that?"
You also caught something on your Paraview that day.
Yes,
I remember. I saw it pop up.
Yeah.
Yes, it popped up on the Paraview, and everybody was filming me too. But the Paraview caught something that day too.
Do you still have that footage? Did you ever figure out what that was?
Fast.
Well, did you ever figure out what that was?
Nope.
Like it couldn't have been. I mean, I know it couldn't have been dust because that's not the way that it works.
Not the way the Paraview works. It's not filming like a regular camera film.
Right.
So no, I've never have determined what exactly that is. It's just like those two soldiers that my Paraview captured in my workshop.
Mm-hmm.
I can't debunk that one either, but two soldiers showed up on my Paraview in the workshop. So here at my house. So my house ain't haunted. My workshop ain't haunted. Well, with the amount of work I've done the last decade, 15 years, it might be haunted now, but
yeah, kind of brought something in.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, didn't want to hijack your shit, Billy.
No, you're good.
Yes. Can we start every podcast with this?
With this, I'll find a better one.
Steve is going to be pissed at me.
Oh, Steve's gonna laugh his ass off, I bet. Steve's got a good sense of humor.
He does.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just glad he didn't have a booger hanging out of his nose.
Yeah, that's a good.
Can I say something? I got to point this out too. Actually, during the first couple episodes when JW is doing the interviews, Billy, did you notice that too?
What? Jay had?
It's not a booger, but it's his mustache. It's like it's just there's the one dark spot right here where everything.
I color, and I have not colored recently, and because if I don't color, it's all blotchy.
Hold on,
So
let me pull the
thanks
project
for
up and look.
pointing that out. What are friends for? I guess I don't.
We're making fun of each other. I don't know. I just thought it was funny because I was like, damn, it looks like JW's got a booger hanging out.
There's one patch right here that is always dark brown, and the rest of it will go like gray. And I hadn't colored at that time, so
I'm just giving you shit.
We didn't have money for a makeup crew, so
No, we did not.
Boston.
This is a low production, guys, so we are all kind of rough looking in this video. Especially, you could see in the second one after my interview, man, I was still groggy and like you could see, like after my interview from the experiment, I was still kind of like out of it in a way, like I not like out of it.
We were all tired too. Me and Billy had that conversation.
Oh my god, that's fucking hilarious! Oh my gosh.
We had some long ass days. That's for sure.
Thank you for doing that. That's hilarious.
I didn't know what you were talking about. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, we would do those interviews. We just, have a few minutes and go down there and like I said, just walk down there and it's still chilly and where we're doing
put
it
my
cold.
hood up, man. Yeah, I had to have my hood up. I was like tired and man, like
so it was real.
Basement wasn't heated.
No, it wasn't heated at all. It was chilly. It was cold down
Upstairs was. Upstairs was nice and heated with the diesel engine that I almost blew up on. That's
some of the basement interviews, you'll notice like the cold coming out of people's breath.
Yeah, it was cold down there for sure. So
luckily we didn't die that day either because that was my. I admit I put gasoline in that.
Was it supposed to be a mix?
I thought it was only a little bit because I about shit a brick on Austin. I was like, Austin, you don't touch that freaking heater one more time and I'll throw you out of here. Because he started to put freaking gasoline in the damn diesel heater.
Oh my God,
Gas and
Austin.
oil.
Yeah. Well, the cans were all right next to each other, and so I figured they were all cans for the thing. You know what I mean? I thought it was for the heater because there was nothing else in that granary that ran off of gasoline.
Right.
So I figured, well, all the gas cans are right here next to the heater. Nah. Apparently,
I was like, hold on there, Hoss. You're about to end production.
This little heater in the bottom right of this picture, that's not even the one you're talking about. You're talking about the yellow one.
Yeah, I know. It was the
yellow salamander heater.
The salamander ones. Yeah.
Oh my God! I thank God every day.
Thank God I caught you.
Yeah, thank God you smelt it properly, because that would have been really bad. I didn't know. I don't have a salamander heater. I thought they were all right next to each other. Like all the gas cans were right there. It's like, why would they put gasoline and like one can of gas and then 3 cans of freaking kerosene? What?
Somebody had put gasoline in a wrong color can. They had put gasoline in a yellow can. You always put gasoline in a red can.
Okay, so then technically not my fault.
No,
not totally.
That was somebody outside of us. We didn't do it. It was already in the granary when we got there.
Look at me. I look like I just woke up from a very uncomfortable nap.
You look like that Reaper from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
What?
Do you remember that?
I have not seen that movie. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I haven't watched that movie in like 30 years.
You don't remember Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
I may have seen parts. I know what it is. I've seen parts of it, but like I haven't actually seen it all the way through from start to finish. So like I don't know exactly what you're referring to.
You sitting there was the Reaper.
Oh.
From that
I remember, man, that was a really I remember being in pain after laying there. Like it was really like my knees and like my feet. I remember there was something that happened, and I won't go into detail about it, but I remember that particular experiment. Like it was really like uncomfortable for me after a certain point.
I remember when you came out, you were definitely my knees, my back. You were bouncing around. You were definitely uncomfortable when you got done with it.
Because I had felt something prior, like during the experiment, and I won't.
Yeah.
Well, we've already talked. Well, I don't think that this is going to come up in any further experiments, is it, or episodes? Is it, Billy?
I
know you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
It comes up in 3.
Does it?
You talking about your legs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do talk about that in episode 3. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind.
But I will say this:
well, here's so here's another correlation. Don't want to give away too much on episode 3 because episode 3, there's a lot to unpack there. I mean, there's just a lot. But your legs, Mike's legs twitching. I don't know if there's a correlation there or not. I mean, people can make their own judgments on that, but it was kind of weird.
Did I say, if I'm not mistaken, did I talk about what I was feeling in episode 2 or no?
No, nobody. There were no exit interviews in episode 2, minus a little bit of Mike's at the very end. So we dive into those exit interviews from experiment 1 and heavy in episode 3.
Okay. All right, then I will hold off.
I know. I bet I know why your knees were hurting you, though. I bet you were laying on the broken cot, courtesy of this guy.
No, because that happened after my experiment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was towards the end.
It was the same cot, though. It was the same cot.
It was the same cot. It was, yeah.
It was the same cot, but it wasn't broken yet.
No, because I think there was. I think it was on either 1 or 2 experiments that happened before Steve plopped himself down on that.
Yeah.
Now I will say this because this is not really going to be in the episodes. But later on, you're going to see Mike laying in it with his legs spread, and it looks like there's this brown stuff because we actually the tent got tore up. So we stole some of the fabric from the tent, and I made Steve sew it up with parachute cord because, you know, he's a vet. I'm a vet. I'm like, there's nothing we can't repair with some material and parachute cord. So tied that thing up, and we kept right on rocking. But everybody that laid in it would spread their legs, so if they fell, they weren't going all the way through.
But I think Mike still was able to do his thing and still
he still did
travel with it anyways, right?
Yeah.
So it didn't really affect him too much.
Yeah. So
we repaired the cot, and I still got that cot. It's just out there, but no, I have extra ones now in case this happens again.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
I don't know how else more, like, I don't want to like talk about it because the more I talk about, the more I want to talk about other things, and like I can't.
Yeah.
So
they're gonna have to tune in next Friday, and if you haven't seen the first 2 episodes, you need to go subscribe, watch these 2 episodes, and get ready for what's coming on Friday, because next Friday is really, that's when our exit interviews start. And you're seeing what happened, what came out of Experiment 1 and the investigations after Experiment 1. So this coming Friday, you need to get caught up if you're not caught up yet.
Yeah, episode 3.
Watch those episodes. Watch those episodes. Subscribe. Get out there. It's definitely interesting. I mean, there's a lot of good information. A lot of
crazy experiences and coincidences. I mean, there's just so much that was just so different.
I mean, it was just crazy how those coincidences started and just, like I said, carried through. And by the time we were done, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
So
definitely watch it, guys.
Yeah. Yes. All right, this guy wants me to get off. He's like, come play with me.
He's so cute.
But you got to get out and do yard work, so I'm sure he'll enjoy that.
Yeah, he likes running around the backyard when I mow the grass. All right, get out.
Oh yeah. Oh, cool.
All right. Well, thank you all, and yeah, definitely we'll have to do this next week and talk about episode 3 because there's a lot there, so we'll figure out a time to do that. But yeah, if you're interested to watch this series along with tons of other content, go to ScareNetwork.tv. We got apps out on Roku, Apple, Fire Stick, Android, Apple TV. So yeah, go check it out, and it's interesting to say the least. So yeah, absolutely. I thank Austin and JW for allowing me to be a part of it and help bring it alive for these guys. So yeah, you guys check it out. Any final thoughts?
If you miss it, or if you're not signing up, you're missing out, guys. Really, like this is where this is some real research being done. This is not your typical ghost hunting. You know, this is not what you're going to find on any other streaming service. This is unique in itself. You have to watch it, guys.
Yeah, it's a unique experience. It's not just typical ghost hunting and going out. This is opening some doors and opening. I mean, what JW has done is just astounding. So, I mean, it'll get people talking. So,
we hope so. Jay, any final thoughts?
No, just get out there and watch it and let us know what you think, because we're trying to push some boundaries. And the only way you're going to find out about this without watching my boring videos of listening to me talk about photons is to go watch this series. And Billy has done an amazing job on bringing this to you guys in such a way that you can understand what we did for that week. And I'm so appreciative of the hard work that Billy's done to bring you guys into what it was that we did.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah. But obviously none of this would have been possible if it weren't for you guys having to plant the seed in your mind to create it and organize it and getting everything together. I just came in and pushed record and then threw it in some editing software. So
but we've been trying to get this documented and out for a long time, and based on prior experiences that JW's had with with opportunities like this, this was a resounding success comparatively.
Oh, yeah.
And so I don't think that any of us have any kind of complaints or I'm very happy. I'm very happy. I know JW's happy.
Yep.
I hope Eric's happy.
Oh, yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah, I was
He doesn't look
happy and
very
was
happy.
just, I was, just honored to be a part of the whole thing, from helping to be a participant to be an assistant. It was a great opportunity. So, yeah, definitely get out there and watch these episodes.
I think there's a lot there for them. I really do.
Yeah.
For the viewer that's interested in the paranormal, there's a lot there to make you think about what's possible.
Reinventing the wheel.
There you go.
All right, guys. Thank y'all. Thank everyone for
you.
watching. Y'all have a good weekend. And
Thanks,
we will
guys.
hopefully talk next week.
All right, thanks, guys. We'll see you.
Looking
See you
forward.
guys.
All right, bye.